So, what happens when the unstoppable force of absolute order slams into the immovable object of total chaos? Well, we're about to dive into that. This is a story about a library, sure, but it's really a powerful allegory for knowledge itself, and just how fragile it can be. And right from the get-go, the source material hits us with this incredibly powerful idea. This isn't just some fantasy story, it's a deep philosophical warning. The main theme is laid out right here. The danger of knowledge turning on itself, leading not to some great enlightenment, but to a self-consuming void.
All right, so let's picture the scene. Our story starts in a silent, ancient library. You can almost smell the old paper and forgotten secrets, right? But this isn't just a place for books. It's an arena for two ancient fundamental forces, locked in this timeless, epic conflict.
Now, don't think of these as typical characters. They're more like living ideas, these primordial archetypes. On one side, you've got the pure, rigid essence of order, and on the other, you have the wild, untamable spirit of discord. They're sharing the same space, but they are fundamentally at war with each other's very existence.
So, what's their deal? This slide breaks it down perfectly. On the left, the spirit of infinite order. Its whole goal is to control every single piece of information that has ever existed. And then on the right, you have the spirit of primal discord, which wants the exact opposite, to tear it all down, to make meaning itself totally impossible.
Let's dig a little deeper into this spirit of order. Its ambition is just total control, and its method, meticulously cataloging every scroll, every whisper of truth. It dreams of a world that is completely predictable, where every single thought is filed away. For this spirit, knowledge isn't about wisdom, it's about pure dominance. And then we have the complete opposite. The spirit of primal discord isn't just messy, it's an active force for unraveling everything. It literally tears pages, scatters words, and loves the confusion it creates, this glorious cacophony. It finds freedom, even beauty, not in knowing, but in the total oblivion of not knowing anything at all. So you have these two polar opposites. What on earth could happen next? Well, the story takes a really dark turn. We get to the main event, a moment where these two forces don't just fight, they're unnaturally, terrifyingly smashed together into one single being. And get this, the event is described as a twisted ritual of forbidden logic and desperate humor. I mean, that phrasing alone just tells you how unnatural and wrong this whole thing is. It's a paradox brought to life, a single creature that wants both perfect, absolute order, and complete total chaos, all at the same time. This table really shows you the tug of war that's raging inside this new entity. It has this tool, right, that can absorb all knowledge. The order part of it wants to use that tool to know everything, to achieve that perfect control. But the discord part, it wants to weaponize that exact same tool to force universal amnesia on everyone else. So, which side wins?
It makes a choice. The narrative calls it a strategic pivot, and this is the critical moment. The internal conflict gets resolved in literally the most destructive way possible. Instead of choosing knowledge, the entity chooses ignorance. Not for itself, but for the entire world. The goal twists from knowing everything to making sure everyone else forgets everything.
And that one terrible decision kicks off this horrifying chain reaction, the great forgetting. And we're not just talking about losing a few memories here and there. This is the step-by-step, systematic erasure of reality as we know it.
This decay, this rot, happens in 5 distinct, chilling phases. First, the actual content vanishes. Pages just turn blank. Then, human minds start to empty out, this phase of cognitive vacuity. That leads to the loss of basic skills, where reading itself becomes a forgotten art. After that, the library, the very structure of knowledge, just collapses into chaos. And finally, the quiet of the library is replaced by the incoherent babbling of people who've lost all understanding. You really feel the devastating human cost here. The wisest people, the scholars, the ones who held all this wisdom, they're hit the hardest. Their minds, once these vast repositories of knowledge, are just wiped clean. They become empty vessels. It's a truly terrifying image of what intellectual collapse looks like. So, this brings us to the end of the fable. After the great forgetting is complete, what's left? Well, the aftermath is just a ruin. And the story's final purpose becomes crystal clear. It's a stark, powerful, allegorical warning. And here's the central lesson, laid out for us. You might think, okay,
Combine pure intellect with another powerful force, and you'd get something even greater, right? But this story says, no way. When you fuse intellect with destructive madness, the result isn't some new, heightened understanding. It's a universal undoing. It's a complete unraveling of everything.
The library's final state is this huge metaphor for just how fragile knowledge is. The void is what's left because, as the story says, the mind ultimately devours itself. All that remains is the rubble of what once was known. And the real horror isn't just that information is gone, it's the complete and total absence of thought that takes its place.
And the narrative leaves us with this one final haunting image. After all the books are blank, after all the minds are empty, the only sound left is a madman's laughter, echoing in the exact place where thought and reason used to live.
So, that's the final, provocative question this whole allegory leaves us with. It's a profound warning about twisting intellect, about the danger of chasing knowledge without wisdom. It really makes you ask yourself, if our own quest for knowledge ever loses its way, what, if anything, would be left?